Hello everyone, Chris Profi, Musically Obsessed. Happy Sunday. I'm going to jump on a thread started by James Griffith, and really cool idea. He wants us to show some hard rock albums that were released from 1970 to 1980, so one album per year. So I thought this was pretty cool, and I have a feeling that I'll probably repeat some albums that were shown, but maybe there might be a couple new ones in here. So I'm new to James Griffith's channel, so I'm interested to check out more of his videos. Seems like a really cool guy, like his musical taste, so I figured I would jump on this thread. So here we go. 1970, UFO's first album, UFO 1. Now, this is pre-Michael Schenker, and an interesting tidbit about this, it did not chart in the UK, but it ended up being, quite a success in Germany and Japan. How would I describe UFO's first album? Well, you know what? It's sort of got a garage rock vibe to it. They definitely bring in some blues. They definitely bring in some boogie elements, boogie tunes in there, and it's definitely heavy, definitely distorted, definitely grungy, definitely garage rock, with even some psychedelic mix in there as well. So it's a little bit of everything. Sort of very similar to like Judas Priest's first album, Rock'n'Rolla, and the Scorpions' first album, dang it, what the heck is the name of that first album? Oh, Lonesome Crow. So it's sort of got those elements. It's that pre-heavy metal sound. Very cool album though. 1971, we had the first release by Budgie, led by Burke Shelley on vocals. I've talked about Budgie before. I got into Budgie through Metallica, because Metallica covered a couple of their songs, including Crash Course and Brain Surgery. And I was like, who is this band, Budgie? So I definitely checked them out. And you know what? It's sort of like, how would I describe Budgie's sound in the beginning? Very similar to that UFO sound. It's sort of pre-heavy metal. Burke Shelley has some sort of high vocals, in the style of Geddy Lee from Rush. There's definitely a Sabbath influence to their music. So, it's just got that really cool early 70s pre-metal sound to it. And I believe that this was is it Roger Bain, I want to say, who produced this album, and he produced of course, the first Sabbath albums. Let me just check, because not a lot of times, but sometimes I give the wrong information. So let's see here. Yes, produced by Roger Bain. Yes, I was right. So very cool album, 1971. Budgie. If you have not listened to Budgie and you like early heavy metal, definitely check them out. 1972, Black Sabbath Volume 4. This, for a lot of people, is their favorite Sabbath album. For me, it's an awesome album, but I prefer Sabotage. But you've got such classics on here as Wheels of Confusion, Tomorrow's Dream, Snowblind, Cornucopia. I love the instrumental Laguna Sunrise, St. Vitus's Dance, and a heavy, heavy song, Under the Sun. So classic Sabbath from the early years. Not my favorite Sabbath album. I tend to go to Sabotage, but still an awesome album. 1973. Led Zeppelin's Houses of the Holy, which happens to be my favorite Zeppelin album. I just love that cover. Iconic. The songs are all amazing. It's got some of my favorite Zeppelin songs. I mean, the song remains the same, and the Rain song, right there, that makes it for me. I love Over the Hills and Far Away. The Crunge is actually one of my favorite Zeppelin tunes. It mixes a little bit of James Brown funk and soul in there. You've got Dancing Days. And one of my favorite songs by Led Zeppelin is No Quarter. And that's found on this album. Such an atmospheric song, kind of proggy, really, really cool tune. So Houses of the Holy, 1973. 1974, the year I was born, Kiss came out with their debut album. I always thought it was interesting because Ace's makeup was different on this album, and Peter Criss's makeup was different on this album than all of their other releases. But this is just like a greatest hits of Kiss. I mean, Strutter, Nothing to Lose, Firehouse, Cold Gin, Let Me Know, Kissin' Time, Deuce, Love Theme, 100,000 Years, Black Diamond. I mean, these are songs that Kiss is still playing in their live set today. It's heavy, it's aggressive. Kiss had something to prove. And, this album didn't do too much for them on the debut. I don't think it was till Kiss Alive that people started to go back and check out their back catalog, like Hotter Than Hell, the first album, Dressed to Kill. And, but it still holds up today. This is a kick-ass hard rock album. I'm showing mostly CDs today. I've got a couple vinyl albums that I'm going to show. 1975. Classic Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic. I know that this album and Rocks tend to be most people's favorite Aerosmith albums. I also like Draw the Line as well. On here you've got Toys in the Attic, you've got Walk This Way, Sweet Emotion. It's just, another basically like greatest hits of Aerosmith on here. Bluesy, hard rock, elements of the Rolling Stones, just a little bit of everything. Aerosmith definitely changed the game with their sound. 1976, ACDC's High Voltage. This happens to be the first internationally released album by them, and it contains songs from their Australia-only releases of TNT and High Voltage. So, great cover, awesome album. Got that classic AC/DC sound. Of course, we've got Bon Scott on vocals. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. The Jack, TNT, She's Got Balls, High Voltage, Live Wire. They're all on here, guys. Classic hard rock from Australia. All right, 1977. The mighty Judas Priest. This is one of my favorite albums by them. Sin After Sin. This happens to be a reissue. But every song on this album is amazing. You've got Sinner, Diamonds and Rust, which is the Joan Baez song. Starbreaker, which is one of my favorite Judas Priest songs, very underrated. Last Rose of Summer. If you question Rob Halford's singing ability, his actual singing ability, listen to Last Rose of Summer. It's a beautiful folk metal song. Let Us Pray, Call for the Priest, Raw Deal, Here Comes the Tears, and Dissident Aggressor. So heavy. Dissident Aggressor is so heavy that Slayer covered it. It's such a good album, just from the top to bottom. Classic Judas Priest. That was 1977. 1978. Blue Oyster Cult, Some Enchanted Evening. This is a live album. This is a reissue on blue vinyl. They sound amazing in this. This is a great album. I've been listening to this quite a bit. They do Are You Ready to Rock on here. ETI. They do Astronomy. Love it. Astronomy is one of my favorite Blue Oyster Cult songs. I believe that Metallica covered that as well. Next, 1979. You've got the first solo album by Gillan. Now, Ian Gillan. This was coming, when Ian Gillan left Deep Purple, he formed the Ian Gillan Band, and they did more of like a jazz fusion proggy sound. Very cool stuff, but I think Ian Gillan sort of, and he said himself, he kind of lost his way. So when he released Mr. Universe in 1979, he wanted to go back to more of that classic Deep Purple Ian Gillan screaming sound, and he got it. This album entered the charts at number 11. Just classic Ian Gillan. Second Sight, Secret of the Dance, She Tears Me Down, Roller, Mr. Universe, Vengeance. Just an awesome album. This has a bonus track on it, Smoke on the Water Live. If you have not checked out Ian Gillan's albums post Deep Purple, check them out. They're so good. I personally like his first few with the Ian Gillan band because I'm into jazz fusion and proggy type stuff. And those first couple albums by the Ian Gillan band, and if you like that kind of stuff, it'll be right up your alley. And then lastly, 1980, the Scorpions, Animal Magnetism. Look at that cover. Just classic, classic cover. Love this album. Make It Real. Hold Me Tight, 20th Century Man, Lady Starlight, which is a beautiful song. Falling in Love, Only a Man, The Zoo, Animal Magnetism. Classic album, classic cover, 1980. That was just the beginning of the resurgence and the worldwide domination of hard rock and heavy metal. I actually did a few videos in a series about albums that were released in 1980. So if you are interested in that, go check those videos out as well. But very interesting thread. Glad I got a chance to check it out. If you have not checked out James Griffith's channel, head on over and check that out. And I think I've got some stuff to listen to today. So listen, enjoy the rest of your day, and listen to Budgie.